Even though you may not see it every day, you are making a difference. Here is how.
The director of the Hispanic Community Outreach Program. Hola, soy Lisa Raigosa, soy la directora del programa Alcance de la Comunidad Hispana. El Alcance de la Comunidad Hispana es un nuevo programa que tiene como objetivo fortalecer el apoyo a nuestros estudiantes hispanos en nuestra institución. Esta iniciativa está diseñada para invitar, avanzar y retener nuestros estudiantes hispanos y también está para desarrollar una mejor comprensión de las oportunidades y desafíos que existen en este panorama. El objetivo de esta nueva iniciativa es mejorar el nivel de vida y la calidad de vida de nuestros residentes hispanos a través de la educación postsecundaria. La comunidad hispana es la población minoritaria de más rápido crecimiento. Es importante que nuestros residentes hispanos, nuestros miembros de la hispana comunidad sepan que tienen oportunidades que les esperan. Y siempre he creído yo que es bueno crear tus propias oportunidades y qué mejor hacer eso aquí en Yavapai College a través de la educación. La implementación de esta iniciativa es un gran éxito, no solo para Yavapai College, sino también para los estudiantes hispanos, porque las oportunidades educativas que vienen por enfrente van a beneficiar el desarrollo de nuestra comunidad. Por supuesto, este es uno de los esfuerzos muy grandes que está haciendo Yavapai College para crear relaciones y alianzas duraderas y sólidas con nuestra comunidad. De hecho, Yavapai College ya ha estado trabajando en conectarse más con la comunidad hispana. Hemos estado haciendo relaciones y alianzas sólidas con nuestros líderes hispanos, la comunidad hispana y nuestros empresarios hispanos. Sí, siento un orgullo poder trabajar en este proyecto y traer esta iniciativa al colegio. El gran apoyo que tengo ahorita es mucho para la comunidad hispana y no sabes el gusto que me da que estamos haciendo este proyecto, esta iniciativa que ya Carlos ha traído a nuestra comunidad.
The other reason is quality of our instruction. And I'm just proud, very proud to say that we at YC have the finest faculty. We have faculty that are scholars in their field. They could teach anywhere that they wanted to teach, but they've chosen to be here in our community and to teach at Yavapai College. They teach here because they value teaching over research and because they care about our students and they want to make a difference in our community. So I can't say more about the fine quality of instruction that we have at Yavapai College.
My name is Jody Scholler. I've been at Yavapai College for about 12 years. all in advising. Currently I work as a retention advisor, working with students who are continuing, have already gone through the admissions process and have started in their first semester. So I started about 12 years ago in academic advising. I currently work in advising as a retention advisor, working with students who have gone through the admissions process already and have started their first semester, so working with them as they continue through. So the Early Alert program is a way for us to use the information that institutional research has, identifying students that are at risk of not being successful in their classes. So the report from institutional research comes in and the students that are on the list get sent out to the respective faculty members to review. A lot of faculty work directly with students who they already identified as being at risk. Student development then hears back from the faculty about whether or not they're working with that student, no other outreach is needed at this time, or if they want that additional support. It really works to help wraparound services for the student, to help support them in a holistic way. So services could be, and resources could be anything. It could be anything that the college offers. It could be connecting them with resources out in the community that they need. The resources include things like tutoring services, disability resources, the food pantry, counseling services that are available, additional grant support if they need it and qualify for it. The ultimate goal is to help students succeed. That can take a lot of different forms. You know, helping a student pass a class successfully, ideal. Sometimes it doesn't quite work out that way, but if we can help students continue to move forward to achieve their goal with Yavapai College, that's what we're after. So this semester, a lot of students had a hard time trying to figure out their daily routine with their school schedule. So they weren't able to spend study time in the Learning Center. They weren't able to go to the library. And working from home had an added stressor of just the home distractions. So working with students a lot this semester with helping them try and figure out that schedule. So just talking with them about what they're used to previously and then what they have been doing and maybe how they can do that a little differently, a little more efficiently to get the results that they were looking for, to be able to study the amount of time that they needed to be able to get through the work that they needed to. So once we were able to talk through what it meant that this was a hard semester, to be able to identify those specifics and work on those specific things, then we were able to find solutions and students were able to figure out what it was that they needed to do in each of their specific situations, because they're all so unique, to find out what they could do to then be successful in their class. It gives us another opportunity for intentional outreach to students to reinforce what they're learning in the classroom, the support they're getting from faculty, and to show that we're there to help them through the process so that they can do what they need to do to be successful. It is going to continue. It may change a little bit. You know, every semester that we do it, we're learning a little bit more about how to do it better, how to reach more students that need it. It is continuing for the spring. It is. You know, it always gives us an opportunity to have the conversations about what's going on. And that's always a good thing. That's always a benefit to the student. It has to kind of be couched with, what do you mean by success? Because, you know, to have a student pass the class successfully, success, right? But even if they end up having to choose between, I can't complete all 3 of these classes successfully, I'm going to have to sacrifice 1 to complete 2. We can look at, okay, so if you do have to sacrifice 1, what would be the best one to sacrifice? You know, using the guided pathways.
As far as what your goal is.
Right, exactly, yeah, to try and save what we can to still help them move forward. There were other students who, you know, this was just a rough semester for a lot of students, and they started questioning their motivation, why am I here kind of thing. So it really took us back to those initial conversations of what is it that you want to do, what is your goal. And so while they may have kind of changed their pathway, they're still continuing, they're still moving forward, and so that's a success. Yeah, exactly. It needs to be, you know, not just get through these classes to get the degree. What is the goal of that? How is that going to help you in your life once you leave Yavapai College? What's the job you want? Getting them connected with those employment services, the internships, to see what's out there. Absolutely. Early Alert program is one more resource that we can use, one more tool that we have to identify those students that really need that additional support to help them get through the process and to accomplish what it is they want to do.
I am Dr. Sandy Van Loo, and I teach English here at Yavapai, and I've been at Yavapai about 13 years. So OER stands for Open Educational Resources, and basically it's a way to create textbooks for students that are completely free. So we share information with each other, faculty share information with one another, or we create our own content and share that across the world, and we use that to create materials that are free and open and available for anybody to use. The OER initiative at Yavapai is to create courses for students that are free of textbook costs. So faculty have created textbooks or have found textbooks that are free and open and have integrated those into their classes and have gotten away from textbooks from publishers that would cost the students money. And they integrate those into their class, and therefore the class is free to the student as far as the textbook goes. And in the long term, we'd like to be able to have students be able to complete an entire degree without having to pay for a single textbook. I'm involved in OER through the OER initiative as a faculty liaison. I educate faculty on what OER is. I run a training course for faculty to tell them about OER, teach them about OER, and then to help them create their own OER materials or to adapt a textbook that is free, that's open, that they might want to use for their class. And I assist them in creating those materials and answering questions that they may have. Yeah, I have a huge passion for OER because as a college student myself, I couldn't afford textbooks. I remember thinking, how am I going to pay for these textbooks? And I had to go to a faculty that I had, and I had to ask to borrow textbooks, or I had to get them from libraries, and I didn't always have the materials I needed. So I've always felt strongly that students should be able to take a class without having to pay an enormous textbook fee. So early on, before OER was even a thing, I started having my materials free. I would create my own materials for my students, or I would just use information I'd find on the internet, because we have this huge world of information free at our fingertips, so why shouldn't we use that? And that's how I started getting involved once OER became an actual initiative here. The initiative has already been successful. In one semester, we've already saved students about $140,000, and that's just one semester, and about 50 to 60 sections of courses that are OER. And I know it means so much to me, but it means a lot to the students as well. I've had students tell me that they could now, without having to buy that textbook, they can use that money to pay for something else that's maybe more critical for them, such as food or gas, medical expenses. I've heard other things. Also, it prevents students from not having the materials the first day of class, or having to borrow from other students. Instead, they're prepared, they have the materials right away, they're not lost, and they're not behind. So it means a lot to both me, and I feel it means a lot to the students as well. So in my class, and I teach English, the average cost of a textbook for my class back when I used a textbook was $75. I've heard that the average in general is about $110, $120. So that saves a student quite a bit of money. If you consider that most students are taking 4 or 5 classes, that's anywhere from $400 to $600, depending on where they get the textbook from, if they have to buy it new from the bookstore, because if they can't find it used somewhere, they're going to pay that full price. So that's quite a bit of money. That's enough money to pay for another course, essentially. They could take another course in the college, but instead they're having to pay for those textbooks. Had students tell me personally that having no textbook fee was a huge weight off their shoulders, because they were able to, again, not have to worry about where they're going to get that money from or what they would have to take away. And I've had students say, oh, well, now I can buy food this week, or now I can pay for my child's medical expenses. And it's been really impactful to me to hear those stories, and to hear this is what I am going to use the money for, since I don't have to buy a textbook. And it almost is a huge weight off their shoulders. They say, oh, I can now engage in my education and not have to have that added stress or that added worry.
So my name is Reka Rublik, and I'm an academic advisor in Student Support Services. That is a federal TRIO program, and I'm an academic advisor success coach in TRIO, SSS. And I've been with the college, December, I think I'll be completing 7 years, maybe 8 years. Yeah, quite a while. Yavapai College, we're so good with the academics and all the programs we have for our students, but sometimes students are unable to focus in school because of something that happens in their personal life, and that's what happened with this particular student. She had trauma hit her family. A very close, immediate member of the family passed away, and my student came back at first with a great focus. She really wanted to not think about the death, but focus on school, and she was able to do that. But as the semester wore on, it hit her. She was not able to really focus on school because she had other kids that she needed to navigate their grief for, and then her own grief kept coming back. And then when students are going through difficult situations, this was a trauma grief situation where her daughter passed away. They're not thinking about school. Like, it's the last thing on their brain. Sometimes it's just difficult to get out of bed and do what needs to be done for the day for the other people in the household. They're not thinking of what's best for me, all the options available to maybe complete the semester. Things like, I don't have to withdraw from school. Maybe I can take an SU grade. Maybe I can work with my instructor for an incomplete. They're not thinking about all those things. So that's where we come in as advisors. If we know what's going on, or if someone reaches out to us, either the student or the instructor, then we are able to be that navigator, that in-between person to advocate for the student. And that's what I was able to do for this student. And she was taking 3 classes. So she was, there were 3 instructors that I worked with, and they were all fabulous. And we were able to get her through the semester. So yeah, it was a very positive experience with those 3 instructors. Am I allowed to say the names? It was Dr. Suzanne Waldenberger, Dr. Carol Welsh, and Cara Gianetto. Awesome, just so caring, just reached out with the student, see what she needed, where she was at, gave her tons of time to get caught up. She was not necessarily successful in completing all 3 classes, but the fact that our instructors were able to work with her and me, so it was 2 separate divisions. I work in student affairs and they're on the instruction side, but we reached across division lines to help the student, and that was just fantastic. Yes, and indeed. So oftentimes, students just don't know what they don't know. If I may share a personal story, earlier this year, my own family was hit by tragedy, and I had taken time off to deal with that, personal time. And my supervisor reached out to me and said, "Hey, Sureka, you have family leave that you can take." And it was not even on my brain. I mean, being a long-time employee, I knew we had family leave, but I wasn't thinking that particular situation that I was going through. It was a death in the family too, but it was my daughter had lost a child. I didn't think that situation was something I could use family leave for, to be there for her. But HR and my program manager, Kathy, reached out to me. So again, it's something I didn't know that was available for me. The same thing with our students. They don't know what they don't know. But that's our job, hopefully, to be the experts in all the different nuances of how we can help them succeed, all the different avenues, and that's our job. So when we can work with the instructors to find the best solution for the student, that's when everyone wins. Absolutely. I love my job. I love this YC family. And YC is this huge hidden gem in Prescott that people just don't know about. And I see some head nodding over there. It's just so true. I'm not just a YC employee. I'm a YC mom. All 4 of my kids have gone here. I'm a YC student. This is a fabulous family. We're not just a school. We're a family. We're a community that we care about each other, and we care about our students. And it's like it's what Maya Angelou said. People may not remember what you did or what you said, but they will always remember how you made them feel. I felt so cared for by my team when they reached out to me in the way they did. And our students, I want them, every single one of them, to feel that same way, to leave here with that, knowing that we care, that they belong here. They belong here. So even if they have to leave a semester for whatever reason, because of how they feel, because how we made them feel, they'll come back. There are multiple different reasons, especially right now with what's going on. It's not even so much the academics, it's all the other stuff. A student is having to navigate being on their computer for 8 hours a day, doing their own schoolwork, and then if they happen to be a mom, they may have 5 kids at home, and they are navigating. So now you're talking a bandwidth for 6 different people in the same household? That's a lot. And when you're used to dropping your kids off at school and coming to your own school to do your schoolwork and then going to the library or Computer Commons or the Learning Center and hanging out there to do your homework, but you can't do that anymore. You have to do everything at home. It's a time management issue. It's a juggling issue. It's not just the academics. There are so many reasons right now why students are not able to complete a class or two. So there are many, many reasons. Oh, absolutely. We are all making a difference. Yavapai College, all that we have to offer, we have so many resources, health and wellness, Monica and her team, financial aid and all the CARES funds. There's so much. And oftentimes students just don't know what's available. Again, that's where we come in, because we have all the different pieces and we know what to offer the student. And oftentimes actually, not sometimes, they just need someone to help navigate through all that, to teach them all that's available. Yes, so I think once we establish that rapport between advising and instructors, and we are able to make that connection, and they know who we are and we know who they are, it's easier for us to contact each other when we see a student that needs some assistance. And that's what happened here. This particular instructor, because of the situation we're dealing with, my student, she saw some other students in her class that were also going through certain things, and so she reached out to me to say, hey, do you think someone can help this student? So yes, definitely. Well, that particular student was not mine, so the way different students fall under different advisors. So I was able to refer that student to the person that she needed to go to and give her all the resources that YC has to offer by way of counseling and mental health and all of that, and give that to the instructor as well. So she has that for other students in the future. So yes. Absolutely. So I can speak to that also from a personal standpoint. I went to a community college first. I went to Phoenix College. I was living down in the valley. Went to Phoenix College first and then transferred to ASU. And oh my goodness, what a huge difference in how I was treated as a student. At the community college, I felt like I was seen. I wasn't just a number. ASU, at the time that I was going to ASU, this is back in the 80s, it's not the same ASU that is today. They're very different, because I do have 2 students there now, 2 of my own kids. But I very much felt like a number. I didn't know an advisor. I don't think I saw an advisor the entire time I was there, as a matter of fact. And the college that I was in, the College of Business, was absolutely humongous. I had classrooms, some of my classes in auditoriums with 200 and 300 students. So yes, huge difference, huge difference.
Together, we are making a difference. We are fulfilling the dreams and uplifting the lives of our students and their families. Let's keep that momentum going in 2021. You can. We can. Together. YC Strong.